be welcoming you on behalf. I'm going to start it again. Hello and welcome to Signal Festival. My name is Gabriella Ferenci, and I'm delighted to be welcoming you on behalf of Language Professionals Networking event, which is the organizer of Signal Festival. Welcome to the second networking session of the day that we were very much looking forward to. This is going to be a lot easier to manage and not as complex as the morning networking one was. So we are fairly experienced with managing this type of networking. Joining us today is Natalie Dannon, who will be the host of this session. Natalie is the award-winning director of the Vichy Language Academy and Vichy Languages France, two highly respected and elite language academies in England and in France, respectively. Natalie is a business coach and runs the Language Professionals Business Club, which is a place for language professionals who understand the value of business connections and who want to share their experiences, mistakes, and successes with a group of like-minded peers. So in this particular session, Natalie will kick off with a 10-minute introduction to networking, and she will dive into both the material and the less tangible benefits of building a solid, reliable network, explaining why the short-term economy of skipping networking can actually be detrimental, can have detrimental long-term effects, and why having a trusted tribe around you can actually be the difference between surviving and thriving. So in both business and in our personal lives. After Natalie's intro, we will move on to structured business networking, which will last for another 30-35 minutes or so. And without further ado, this is more than enough for me. Please join me in welcoming Natalie Dannon.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Gabby. Thank you very much. So in the next very brief 10 minutes, I'm going to hopefully give you a good insight based on my experience as to why I think that you should really, really spend some time networking. Now, I'd like to start with kind of the end in mind. And if you remember nothing from what I'm going to talk about in the next 10 minutes, just think and remember that anyone can imitate your business, but no one can imitate you. And that truly is the essence of networking, and why there isn't any better way when it comes to your branding and your marketing to get yourself out there. So networking is all about showing the world how unique you are and getting all those connections attracted to you. Now, when we run a business, whether you run a very small language business or a rather large one, I think in the language world, most businesses are fairly small. I don't know about other countries, but in the UK, you start to talk about a medium-sized business at 3 to 5 million. Before that, it's small. So I think I can safely say that we are all around this table running a small business. But we can see anywhere, regardless of the size of our businesses, that anything boils down to our connections. It's not just about your customers that clearly put the food on the table, but it's about your suppliers. It's about the people you work with. It's about business advisors, people you can share stuff with. Everything in business boils down to the connections that you have. Without connections, in my opinion, you don't have a business. And the truth is that when we spend, day in and day out in what we tend to call the daily ground of the business, we have to teach, we have to translate, we have to do interpretation, we have to manage a team, we have to talk to the accountant, we have to do all the admin in the back office. When you have to do all of this, it's really easy to think that getting out there, meeting people, is not an essential, is a nice to have. And I think that that's something I see quite a lot in the language world. People think that going out networking is a nice to have. Well, I'm here to tell you today that it truly isn't. Networking is an investment. It's going to be an investment of time, and also sometimes it's going to be an investment of money. Everything that we do in business is either one or the other or both. And I think that people, and a lot of people that I actually kind of speak to, a part of my tribe, say to me, oh, I think it sounds amazing, but I can't quite get the value of being part of this tribe. And that's really what I want to showcase in a way today. I think first of all, we have to understand that it's scientifically proven, okay? Business aside, it is scientifically proven that we, human species, are not doing too well when we are alone. You know, we have less stress when we're part of a team. Our well-being is much better. So just think about it as an individual that runs a business, because that's also extremely important. We all have, as humans, the need to be part of a community at some point. And then what I want to try and say to you is give you examples of what happens when you start to network, when you start to put yourself out there. Please don't think that networking is all about gaining. It's also an awful lot about giving. And at some point, the two meet up. You know, when you are looking for a community, a networking community, whether you want business support, whether you want to reach out to new potential clients, of course, when you originally think about it, it's for your own gain. You don't think about it doing it for others. But once you are part of a great community and you feel good in it, you will realize that you think about giving more than gaining. And then the two mix very well together. So let me give you a few examples. As part of my business coaching, I started a mastermind group last year. People who came on that mastermind program, I had met through networking, online networking, language shows, seminars in London. They all came to me, and then we ran a 6 months mastermind program. There was a lot of learning in this program, but after 6 months, we felt so well connected together. We felt that we could grow together, that on the back of that, more than 50% of the people on that program joined my Keystone Club just because they wanted more. On the back of that, 6 months later, I've launched my business group for language professionals. All of that was for people who really wanted to be together and connect together, but also me, as the business owner running all these programs, all the ideas to me came along whilst working with these people. I would have not had the ideas for all these clubs and programs if I had not been in this crowd in the first place, working with these people, connecting with them, listening to them. All my business ideas came from that. That will happen to you too, regardless of the niche you're in, if you really start to network. Another thing as well is I had, as Gabby quite rightly said, I set up a company in France nearly 3 years ago. When I went over to France, I had to find staff. I had to find an accountant. I had to find a solicitor. I had to find a web designer. Rather than just start, extensive research that would have taken me weeks, I networked. Within literally weeks, I had an entire team of people ready to help me launch the business. So again, it's not just about getting new customers, it's about the supply chain. It's all great to get customers, but if you haven't got a solid team around you to deliver the work that you want to sell, it's not going to work. I also attended one of Gabby's other meeting once as a panelist, and I met someone on there who came to me and said, I think what you do is amazing. I'm really new in the language industry. Can we have a chat? We had coffee. And I spent a couple of hours with this person. It was all about giving. I had nothing to gain. I knew for a fact that this person could not afford my coaching fees. So I really did it out of kind of my own heart. A few months later, my son was offered a soccer scholarship in the US, in a university, through this guy who actually had contact and decided to help me out. This is how beautiful networking is, how amazing it is to create connections. I have so many more stories about networking. This little Labrador that you see here, I was on the waiting list for 6 months for a breeder until, through a networking group I'm part of, a cancellation came through. So I got a phone call saying, would you like to adopt him? Now, what I'm trying to say here is that I think that I want to encourage you to network. I think a lot of people don't network because they think it's too much time consuming, because they don't want to invest money into paying for what they perceive as just having a coffee. But that's not what it is. You're not having a coffee, you're building your network. You need to learn to network. You need to learn how to ask the right questions, etc. Requires work, just like any marketing campaign, just like any new translation or training technique. You will have to work at it, but the benefits are simply going to be colossal. I also like to say that I think that a lot of people don't network because they're very cagey about their business. They don't want to open up about their work, their ideas, their customers, because they're worried that people are going to take them away from them. My experience of being in the language industry for now 19 years shows me completely the opposite. To me, openness is truly key to growth. And whether you grow your business financially, whether you grow as a professional because you learn more and you are more skilled, be open about your business. The minute you start to be open and connect to people, truly wonderful things happen. So I think, I could talk about this topic of networking for a long time. I think I've been talking for 11 minutes and I had promised 10. I'm trying to grow as quickly as I can, but just as a way of recap, guys, get out there and network to gain customers, network to find really good, reliable suppliers, network because you want business guidance, network because you want to share new business ideas of opportunities with other people and you want them to tell you how you feel, network because you want to grow your team. Just network. Be open about who you are and what you do. No one can compete against you when you go in front of people and talk about who you are. So to go back to what I was saying earlier, people can imitate your business. Don't think that you have a wonderful little way of running your business, that you have IP that no one can steal from you. Because I'm here to tell you that this does not happen, or very, very, very rarely. And you better have a lot of money for expensive solicitors. Most people can copy what you're doing. It's pretty easy, but no one can copy who you are, how you hold yourself, the energy that you get out there, your personality. This is the match with people. This is the match with your entire supply chain. And that's why you need to network.
Many thanks for this thought-provoking.